Far too often, LGBTQ plus business owners believe they have to choose between authenticity and being successful. Through these real-life stories, LGBTQ plus listeners aspiring for success can gain valuable insights to navigate their path to being both queer and successful. Hey, successful fam. We know that everyone deserves a place to be successful. That's why all day, May 4th and May 5th, we are hosting our Successful Summit 2026 in Asheville, North Carolina. During this summit, you will experience panelists, keynote speakers, as well as interactive workshops led by yours truly, as well as other brilliant queer entrepreneurs across the country. If you'd like to learn more about our summit, you can find out more on queerandsuccessful.com, and we hope to see you there. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone. It is me, Hunter J. McNair, your hostess with the mostest, back again for this week's episode of Queer and Successful. Now, this week, I am joined by my good Judy, my good pal out of Memphis, born out of Memphis, Tennessee, now in Nashville, Tennessee, Austin Rowe. Austin, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you, honey?
I'm great. Don't you love that I already messed up where you're from?
It's a big state. It's a big state.
Well, you're from Memphis. You now service Nashville in more ways than one. And you are the founder. We were cackling before we got started today. So this is just going to be a fun episode. So you are actually one of the founders and board leaders for the National LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance. And you've been doing that for quite a while now. And you are also the founding president of the Mid-South LGBT Chamber of Commerce. You've owned a business since you were 25, and you've been rocking and rolling. You're a big name in the queer real estate world. So welcome to Queer and Successful. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I'm Austin Rowe. I'm born in, like you said, I'm born in Memphis and born and raised in Memphis. I moved to Nashville 2 years ago. I'm a co-team lead with Rowe Partners at Owner Real Estate in Nashville. And we actually work in both the Memphis and the Nashville markets.
Well, see, you didn't even tell me that. Like, come on, you totally set me up for that. My God. Okay, keep going.
Gotcha. I've been here for 2 years in Nashville. I have a cute corgi named Silas, and I am a founding member of the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance. We started in 2020 during the pandemic on a lot of Zoom calls, and it's still one of my passions today. So, yeah.
Love it. Well, Austin, on this podcast, we love to dive into people's history and their lives and really what makes them who they are. So I want to take us back. I want you to get you in childhood phase and look back at little Austin in Memphis, Tennessee. When you're like, when y'all, the thing that's so funny about this conversation today is like, I'm from the country, right? Like I grew up at a small town, and Austin and I'm going to get so country today. It's not even funny. So for you growing up in Memphis, did you grow up in Memphis proper? Or did you grow up like outside of Memphis?
I grew up in a suburb called Bartlett.
Okay. You're like me. You're like, oh, I grew up in Raleigh. You didn't really grow up in Raleigh. You grew up in a small town. How many people?
No one knows where Bartlett is. It's about 60,000 people.
Okay. That could be smaller. It could have been worse. What do you remember most fondly about Bartlett?
Oh God.
No, remember, you still sell there, so be careful.
Not much anymore. I would say probably it's a big small town. Like everyone, that's Memphis in general. Like everybody knows everybody. Kevin Bacon's 7 Degrees of Separation. It's more like 2 or 3 in Memphis, or in Bartlett for that matter. I don't know. It's it'll always be home, but there's nothing specific that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's just a place.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm from Stem, North Carolina. The town population was 300 when I left, and now there's 298.
Who died?
Me. Exactly. It was COVID. Yeah, it's a thing. It's sad. They didn't want to wear masks. I'm just saying.
Well.
So, I always like to ask as well, like when you were growing up in a small town, well, relatively small town in Tennessee, what do you think you wanted to be when you grew up? Like, what was
I
the
wanted to be
like?
a, I wanted to
Yeah,
be a park ranger.
tell me more.
My friends make fun of me. They're like, "You're like a forest hobbit," because I'm 5'8". So, and most of my friends are, and the men that I date are taller than me. So, significantly taller than me.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I grew up in Scouts. I was in Scouts from 8 years old to 18, and then I worked for the Scouts for 4 years after that. Um, and so, yeah. So I want to
You,
be a park ranger, and then I realized that I would be in the middle of the country, and I didn't want to do that. So that went out the window.
how long did, so you wanted to do that like all through high school? And then when you got, what did you go to? Yeah.
When I get into high school, I switched to engineering. I wanted to be an engineering, civil engineer specifically.
You know what's so funny is like when I was in high school, we had like three sections of the school. It was a whole thing. But anyway, a lot of the like more country boys were like told like a lot of them gravitated towards
Yeah.
engineering. You were like totes mask.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like
I was
park
also
ranger.
I
Yeah.
was also in band in high school too. So it was like,
Okay, what do we
yeah,
play?
trumpet.
I knew it. I was like, this is a trumpet player. You already know what I played. This you already know. Just yeah. It was a yeah. I was woodwind captain, so you can
Huh?
imagine what I was playing. So it's interesting that I always ask that. What do you because sometimes there's things that correlate why we do what we do now with the dreams and the aspirations that we had as children. And I want to know like what kind of drew you to like park ranger or engineer? Like what were the attributes that kind of drew you to those professions?
So park ranger, I've always loved the woods.
Yeah.
So I still go to state parks like almost when it's warm outside every week or every other week. And then engineering it was something I could still like build something.
Hmm.
I like Legos as a kid, so that kind of made sense. And then I switched from engineering into political science, which now everything I learned is completely out the window.
Hmm.
Um, and so and then I went into real estate a few years later because I was a bartender for 10 years. And so I loved working with people.
I'm doing math because you started real estate at 26, but you were a bartender for 10 years.
I bartended until I was 29.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you
Yeah.
kind of like did that as like a night gig
Yeah. It was a
when
night
you
gig,
started.
just, when I first started. So I bartended from like, I was like 19, 20 until I was
Yeah.
29.
I like that you can bartend at 19 in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's wild because you cannot do that here. You have to be 21.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I know that obviously you went to college, you said you switched to political science, and I also know that you didn't come out until you were 25 or 26 as
Hmm.
well, right? So you went to college and you were studying political science and you came out to, I guess, the world at 25. When did you
Yeah.
come out to yourself though? Like when was the first time that you were like, I think something's a little different about me?
Probably the last year of college, I would say. I think I was end of somewhere 23, 24-ish. Uh, I mean, I always had a feeling that something was different, I guess the best way to put that. But I remember I was talking to a friend of mine in college. We were working at a local restaurant in Memphis together, and she's like, we had the conversation. I was like, I think I'm bi, da da da, and it took all of 3 weeks not even that long. I think it was like 10 days for me to realize, nope, not bi, definitely gay.
What do you think took? I mean, that's actually quite a long time from what I usually get. Like a lot of times, like we say coming out to the general public, but when people come out to themselves, it's like, well, I kind of knew when I was like 5 years old, like I kind of knew
Yeah.
when I was a kid. What do you think took you so long?
I think it was honestly, when growing up, wasn't really exposed to LGBT people in general. So not even understanding what that even meant growing up, much less being able to identify it in myself. I
Yeah.
grew up, in a suburb of Memphis, went to looking back at it, the only people that were out were there these two kids that were out. I mean, and even then that was, you know, beyond my comprehension at the time. And now, shoot, half of my high school friends are gay.
We have such similar stories. And I think that might just be also because of we're products of the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it was the same way in my high school. There were like two kids who were gay, or probably like really like one who was out, I should say, and completely bullied, was ostracized. There wasn't necessarily amazing representation on television. And then, of course, after high school, they all came out.
Yeah.
We all came out. We were like, okay.
What's funny is I look back and I'm like, there are cues I should have paid attention to, and I was just completely oblivious. And one of the best ones I like is my last girlfriend that I had. One of our favorite shows to watch was Will and Grace.
Mm.
Like, it should have been like, hello.
Yeah, you should have known.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
yeah, I mean, the representation back then was like, I think the only thing that was really out there outside of Will and Grace was, what's the show? Not the L Word, but Queer as Folk on
Queer as
HBO.
Folk. There was
Yeah.
Queer Eye
Yeah, Queer Eye. Yeah. And I
and
mean,
Ellen.
you're from Memphis, so you didn't have cable.
Hey,
It's like you didn't have no cable. It's all good,
we had satellite.
You had bunny ears. You had little bunny ears, Yeah, right now this whole stream is happening via carrier pigeon. No,
Just two tin cans and a piece of string.
yeah, stretched across North Carolina and Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, so I totally I get that. It's also fascinating. I mean, what do you think was the catalyst to like even just the saying bye? Like, was there someone you met or something you saw or like drag show?
I was working in Midtown Memphis, which is where I don't want to say the majority of gays live, but that's where the majority of the culture in the gay community in Memphis is. And so I was exposed to it more. And then I was talking to some guy, I can't remember his name now. And I was like, okay, you know, it was blatantly obvious to me that I felt something different
Mm.
towards him. And like I said, look back, I'm like, I was completely oblivious or repressing it, one of the two. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's work for a therapist to figure out.
Well, it's one of those things where like we don't know, but we don't know. Like it's funny because
Yeah.
people were like, I don't know if you got this also, probably not as much as I did when I came out, where it was like, yeah, Hunter, we knew. Like, come on.
My
Like,
brother said that to me
okay.
so I got outed
Uh,
accidentally to my parents, and not their fault, but there's a picture of me and like 10 of my friends, and they were obviously gay. And it got posted, and I got tagged in it. Parents saw it. It was a whole thing. And then I told my brother shortly thereafter or right before, one of the two, and he goes, Austin, I know. I've known since we were in high school. He's 4 years younger than me. I was like, okay. He's like, I would just wait for you to figure it out. Okay. So that's how that
yeah.
went.
Well, let's talk more about that. So you come out after kind of getting outed by being, I'm imagining with a picture of a group of gay guys at a gay club. I'm only assuming.
It was
And
brunch.
it was,
But yeah.
well, of course, it was a drag brunch.
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
So your friends, how did they take it and how do your parents take it?
My parents did not take it well in the beginning, mainly because I'm the firstborn. So there was a sort of a expectation of what they wanted,
Yeah.
which they've grown and learned, and we have a pretty good relationship now. But in the beginning, it was tenuous at best.
Yeah.
And there were some periods of time where we didn't speak,
Right.
and that was rough. But
Yeah.
it took about 18 months for us to get to a good space.
That's good. I mean, 18 months could have been longer, right?
Yeah.
And I think as Southern people, because again, I relate to this. We're from relatively small towns, and it's just like you don't know what you don't know, and your family's in the same situation. The conversation about representation, why it matters so
Hmm.
much, is for like people like us, right?
Hmm.
Even right now, I don't watch Heated Rivalry because I think that it's meant for women. But I know that I know. Have you seen it, by the way? Have you seen
Yeah, I
that show?
have.
Okay. Did you like it?
I do.
Okay. I
I can
haven't
see
seen
your
it.
point, but
I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I know that a lot of like, but you think it's good.
I think it was yes, I do. I think
Okay.
some of it felt rushed, but it's 6 episodes.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
never meant to be on HBO to begin with. It
Right.
was
Yeah.
meant to stay in Canada.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah, I just
So,
didn't know. Like, it's like, but it's like when we have conversations about representation, right? And we
hmm
say like, okay, what's the media that's out there? Does it? Well, there's not enough in general, right? And
right.
does it connect to every aspect of every person? But that kind of stuff, didn't exist as much. And then of course, it doesn't reach our parents. It doesn't reach the people in our world. So you're limited to who you're around in your
Yeah.
community. Now, you also decided to start a business the same year that you did that.
Yeah.
Tell me like what got you going in that direction? Like, where were you like, I want to start a real estate career?
I want to be a realtor.
Yeah, I'm gay and I want to sell houses.
Basically how it
Yeah,
worked.
yeah.
But no, so when I was a kid, my cousin, that's 20 plus years my senior, she was a realtor and still is. And I would ride with her in her sapphire blue PT Cruiser. Good Lord, that was an ugly car. And we would go out and put signs in yards, to clean up houses. I would hang out with her at her office and we'd print out flyers and all kind, put together furniture, all that stuff. So that was my first exposure to real estate, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Fast forward 12, 15 years, I'm bartending, and this recruiter for
Mhm.
was it
Makes
KW?
sense.
Yeah, K, KW. There was a recruiter that was at the bar just having drinks, and I was talking to them about Memphis history and what it's all about, and da da da, and the house that we were in, the bar. And she said, "Have you thought about being a realtor?" And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, I was like, well, screw it. The course is $500. I'll take the course and go from there. So while I was sitting at the bar and had no customers, I did my coursework. And then I
Okay.
went to KW, and I ultimately did not end up at KW. I ended up with Cry Like for a year. But that's basically how it happened, how I got,
Just like fell into it.
yeah, just it was one of those things like going from there's like a straight line from bartending to real estate.
Well, I
So,
mean, it makes sense. The
yeah.
personality type is there, because you have to talk to strangers and be willing to have those connections. That's funny. I didn't know you started at Keller Williams back in the day.
They tried to recruit me, and to remain polite, it did not end well.
Every office is uh, individually owned and operated. Just so we
Yes,
know, we'll say
like I
that.
said, to remain polite,
Yes,
it did not end well.
office is independently owned and operated. Yes.
Correct. Each market center.
Yeah, yeah. And also, that was 17, 2016, something like that.
17.
The day I signed on with Keller Williams was actually the same exact day. And I tell the story all the time. So, sorry, everyone. But it was the same exact day that same sex marriage was legalized. So, like, we think about where we were when we started
Hmm.
doing this 10 years ago and the environment that we had, and it's a completely different environment for queer people in this industry, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's been people like you and so many of us others who have kind of started to pave the way for this to be an acceptable thing that we can talk about. Like, hey, like, yeah, guess what? You can be the soccer mom real estate agent just the same way as you can be the gay one.
Right.
It's all just your branding. Now, what are some of the struggles you think you had? Because, obviously you struggled with, we're a first brokerage, and I'm assuming it had something to do with being gay in Tennessee. What were some of the struggles you had as being not only relatively newly out, but also out in your business?
So a few of the things I didn't take it seriously for the first year, but after that, one of the biggest struggles I think was trying to like if I tried to work with someone that was not like outside of my community, it was harder to connect in the beginning. But working inside the community, what was really interesting is in Memphis, there's probably a dozen gay agents, maybe. Uh, and two or three of them had like 80% of the gay clientele locked up. Like there's nothing I could do to peel them away, which speaks to their relationship. That's great. So I had to like get younger people in the community to, convince them that they could in fact afford a house. And it took a lot of time to do that. Secondly, I really struggled because I was really involved with the association I still am on, RPAC committees. And so I learned a lot about having to balance my personal beliefs and who I am with what RPAC does.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that story.
Yeah.
So those were the biggest struggles in the beginning. And I'll never forget, there's an agent in my first office I worked in who was an older gay man, and I was out loud and proud. And uh, he read me for filth one day because and I didn't appreciate it then. And then 2 years later, I called him and we were talking. He said, "Austin, I just want to know how proud I am of you." He's like, "But I was so scared for you when you came out because no one had been like that before in our market, and I was so scared that you were going to get hurt, that someone was going to target you, you know, something along the or that you were going to pigeonhole yourself and not be able to grow as a realtor." And he said none of that happened. And he's just said how proud he was. But he's like, "That's why I was so angry because I was scared for you."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really is fascinating the dynamics that like the things that you and I have a lot in common
Hmm.
in that sense, right? And I know today there are real estate agents in my market who are still like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you this out and
Yeah.
proud agent?" Like, and you're right. Like, it totally comes from a place of, and that person told you, it comes from a place of being scared, being afraid of what it looks like, being afraid of who you're going to ostracize. And I think that, it sounds like that you kind of leaned into it in the very beginning. And I think that people often go like 10, 15 years and then they're like,
Hmm.
okay, how am I going to reverse course on this? Like, there's no way I can completely restart my business and
Right.
now be the out and proud person. But I think that when you do, and you can attest to this probably, you start to just work with people who are more your people,
Hmm.
and they refer you more of your people.
Well, and we all know about, in real estate, focus on your niche and all of that. And this is my niche. Is the LGBT community. Like that's what I'm good at. I know how to market to them. I know how to work with them. I know how to support them. So that's what I do.
Yeah. When did you move to Nashville?
It was 2 years ago yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's the transition been? Because, a lot of people would be nervous and anxious to,
Still am.
I mean, you've just done all, I mean, well, I mean, here, we're talking about things that are hard things to do, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
hard to come out in the South and be an out and proud real estate owner or business owner in general.
Hmm.
Especially in the time that you did it. And then it's also difficult to pick up where you grew up and your sphere there and then move 3 hours away. I learned that today, by the way. I thought Nashville and Memphis were right beside each other.
No.
So what was that transition like that two
So
years ago?
it's been a challenge. It's been
Mm-hmm.
a welcome challenge, but it's been a challenge. I still work in Memphis. I go down to Memphis every 2 to 3 weeks. I put about 24,000 miles on my car last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I only did all my taxes.
Hey. Uh, yeah, so I go down there I still sell down there. I still do property management, all of that in Memphis while I'm building my business up here. I just so happened to choose to move up to Nashville right before we had the worst real estate market since the 90s.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's getting good. Like I got a solid group of friends here. Business is slowly building up, and I'm, doing the same thing I did in Memphis, almost 10 years ago, and just getting connected.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if you had a good business before and like what your strategies and what your models were in place, then you can just kind of duplicate that in a new location usually, right? And I have to give you accolades though, because again, it is hard to leave where you have a sphere and then move 3 hours away to somewhere that you don't. So it's difficult no matter what. Like, it's easy to say like, okay, yeah, just copy and paste it, but in practice, it's really hard.
Right.
And I think that you also, of course, have an opportunity to get more involved in the queer community there, and not even just find like the people who are at the bars, right? It's finding the people
Right.
who are not at the bars. Is most of your business sphere? Is it referral? Like, what does that look like?
Sphere.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get some referrals through, through the Alliance, through other sources. But I've been really good at sphere building, in both cities. And so I really rely heavily on that
Yeah. She
to
gets
build my
around.
business.
Yeah. She gets around. And now you just started this new branding thing, right? Remind me
Yep.
the name of it.
It's Real Estate Daddy.
Real Estate Daddy. Yes. On your Instagram. I have some
Uh-huh.
notes for you after. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. And that's fun, right? Like, you're
Hmm.
building a new brand, you're doing, launching big things. And then of course the Real Estate Alliance is big
Yep.
for you.
And
Yeah, go
I don't
ahead.
know if you saw this, I'll be 2028 president.
I did. I did. I was going to say, I don't remember what the what the pre VP
I'm,
is.
I'm
Is that,
second vice president.
okay? Your second VP. Okay. Okay. I didn't
Yep.
know I know you were treasurer last year.
No,
What's the math?
so you have second vice president, president-elect,
Okay.
president, and then
Yes.
immediate past.
Okay. I thought
I
there
was
was something
secret,
before.
I was secretary of the board
That's what it was. Okay.
from our founding in 2020 until February of last year.
That's what I said.
Yeah. You were right on the money,
I
honey.
was right on the money. That's why I said treasurer. So what has that experience been like for you? I mean, you come out, you're building a business. The Real Estate Alliance obviously gets born out of COVID.
Hmm.
What has that experience been like for you over the last 6 years?
It has been incredible. I mean, I've met some unbelievable people, some people that will be my lifelong friends across the country. I have a network of friends and agents and people that, and some even in Europe because of the alliance. It has not been without its challenges,
Hmm.
as any organization has, but it's a tight group of people. And honestly, if it wasn't for the people in the beginning, most of the people in the beginning, um, I wouldn't. It would have been much harder to get through COVID in 2021 without them. So I wanted to start the alliance or I wanted to be a part of the start of the alliance, to create a space for other real estate professionals to have a place uh, to advocate and to find support with each other.
Yeah, I've known y'all for a long time.
Hmm.
I've known, I knew a lot of, I won't name names because some of them we don't say their names. But I've known a lot of
He
y'all
who
for a
must
long
not
time.
be named.
He who shall not be named. I've known y'all for a lot of time. Richard, I've known for a really long time. And, I look at your future and I look at the opportunities that you have, especially in the climate that we have now. You're looking at a presidency in 2028, which it sounds like it's far away, but not really, right? Like that's going to be coming
Hmm.
soon, right after Richard's presidency,
Yep.
Richard Wood's presidency. I mean, do you have any plans? Are you like, this is my first point of action?
I do have some plans, but just so I don't receive the wrath of our CEO, I'm not going to discuss them.
I mean, you could have just said like, we all wear pink on Wednesday. It's like, you didn't have to,
Right.
like, come
No,
on. No.
there are things that we want to do, and pink is part of it.
Good. Oh, good.
No, it's going to be a good year, 2020. It's going to be a good year this year too.
Yeah.
We turned over a new leaf. We got new leadership. It's going to be fantastic.
Good, good. Well, I'm hopeful and looking at everything y'all are doing, and here to support, obviously, as any way that we can. Because again, I've known y'all for a long time, and it's exciting that you've been able to go from being 25, 26, coming out, immediately starting a business, falling into an organization and helping start an organization that is meant to advocate for LGBTQ plus rights, or rights for
Hmm.
everyone in housing across the board. And looking at the next 2 years of your life as you prepare for a presidency of a role, which there's a lot of attention on that, and a lot of it's going to be hard, Austin, and you already know that. You already
Honey,
know.
If what I've gone through hasn't killed me yet, nothing's gonna kill me.
You'll be great. You'll be great. I know, right? Well, and there's so much passion that you all have around it as well, and that matters a lot. That matters a lot. And now I know that you, and I always ask this before the interviews, before we actually go recording, start recording, how you define success, right? Because success is, this is queer and successful, and
Hmm.
so success is defined in many different ways. You defined it as measurable growth paired with meaningful impact, sustainable income, things like trusted relationships, working with organizations that operate ethically, efficiently, in service of something larger than profit. Is that does that sound right? Is that like
Yeah, I mean, it always my entire business boils down to authenticity
mhm.
and continuing to if I can I know, and I've said this before, in Nashville, I know I'll never be the 6, 8, $10 million agent. That's not my people. I don't understand that language. It's not my jam. But when you help someone, a single gay man or woman or queer person buy their first home when they think that they couldn't, and you see the tears well up in their eyes because they never thought they could own a home, that is makes the whole thing worth it. I don't care how hard the transaction is. It makes the whole thing worth it. And so that's how I would define success is building those relationships, creating more home ownership, and expanding our community and connecting with them.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's we talked in the very beginning about representation and,
Hmm.
not having that or seeing that and that being a catalyst for many reasons why people stay in the closet or don't feel comfortable coming out. And I think that you are doing by leading with that authenticity, a lot of people will say that that's hard or that's difficult. I think there was recently an actress who said authenticity is expensive on a podcast. And what I think she meant by that is when we do what we are doing, it's you're
Hmm.
willing to fall on the sword of that
Yeah.
statement, right? Like you're like, yeah, I will fall on the sword of this. Like because my representation allows a homeowner to feel more comfortable, to know that like they're working with someone that they can be comfortable with, to work with vendors that I'm sure they're worried that are going to be comfortable with as well. And at the same time, you're creating this family, right? And
Hmm.
people don't get that. Like they don't get there's like this family aspect that's connected with it, and all at the same time while honoring who you are. Now, I also know that you never want to hide or diminish yourself from a sale. I know that you think that I'm reading your thing. You want to work with professionals that can connect and have something in common with, and that completely
Yep.
aligns with everything you're doing. What are your plans for this year for your personal business? Like, what are you hoping to do?
I want to at least double what I did last year, which wasn't much, but doubling would be great.
Yeah.
One of the biggest goals is expanding the new brand,
Okay.
uh, and uh, and real estate daddy was born out of a friend of mine used to call me realtor daddy, and obviously trademark can't do that. So real estate daddy was born, and I'm really excited to expand that and grow that brand in Nashville.
That's exciting. How do you outside of like the gram? What are there like? Are you going to do events? Are you going to
We're gonna
do
do events. So our first event is a Fat Tuesday party.
okay Mardi Gras
Fat
thing?
yeah, Mardi
Yeah,
Gras.
yeah, yeah. We don't really do a lot of Mardi Gras here. So
Well, I would expect you not to.
yeah,
Remember, I'm from the dirty South,
yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
so I'm gonna cook a big pot of gumbo at one of the gay bars in town, and we're gonna have trivia and beignets and hurricanes and some swag. And that's the first event, and then we're gonna do a daddy's open house in Pride Month, and then the plan is in the fall to do a queer fashion show.
Ooh,
And so we want to bring in like queer designers and and queer people to design outfits and then have a fashion show with wine and champagne and all that and make something fun out of it and like be able to showcase some of the creativity and artistry in our community.
what I think is really fun about when we have conversations like this is, the first thing you expect people to go. I think the traditional real estate agent or the traditional business owner that people think about, like they immediately go to like, oh, like mailers and email campaigns or like, like stuff that's kind of things for everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just so much more fun when you can lean into who you are and your community and be creative, all while building something that like the money matters, but you're not leading with that, right?
Right.
Like you're leading with, well, really, I want to double, but like what I really want is just to like make a community here for
Right.
myself and others, which is really cool.
And that's what the primary the whole focus on the whole reasoning behind Real Estate Daddy is to create a spaces where real estate is a comfortable conversation, you
Mm-hmm.
know, where it doesn't, well, maybe I can do this. Some 28-year-old that they finally got their first big boy job making decent money, and they can finally take that step, and they want someone that is approachable, that understands them, that understands, you know, our community and what we've gone through, and they see the brand at a bar or at a party or whatever. I'm never one to do like buyer workshops, or real estate, not my thing. So it's making it accessible and approachable
I love
and
that.
making it fun.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm happy to, by the way, I'll talk to you off this too, because I want to see all your things and I want to see all that flourish. And I expect an invite.
Absolutely.
I expect an
If
invite.
you're willing to drive 7 hours, eight
I
hours, however
mean,
long it is.
how is there, there are airplanes there, right?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
You can fly into that, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I just learned today you have shoes. So
Yeah, we do
yeah,
have shoes.
that's good. That's good
We
though.
got them a
Yeah.
couple years ago. They're real nice.
Good, good. I'm so glad. Well, the lace, when you get the ones with laces, even
Uh-huh.
better. Yeah,
Right
even
now we're on
better.
Velcro.
Right. Yeah.
They're slow motion and
Your little moccasins.
mm-hmm.
No, I mean it's fun. I should go to Tennessee more actually, because I mean you're our neighbor, and
Mm-hmm.
we just don't like Georgia, or sorry, not Georgia, South Carolina. We just forget her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like North
Jump
Carolina.
around.
Yeah, North Carolina, Georgia, Orlando. Yeah, that's the only thing that is. Well, is there, as we kind of wrap up this conversation, is there one thing that you just really want to leave everyone with about your life or about the future? What's something you'd want to leave a message about?
Run run if you own a business, run your business authentically. People want to work with people that are like them, that are like-minded, that they see themselves in. So be yourself and don't apologize for it.
I love that. People don't remember what you do; they remember who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Thank you so much for this conversation today, Austin. I'm looking forward to seeing all your successes. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Successful Summit in Asheville in May, because you're
Yeah.
my neighbor. And
It's only
of
a
course,
6-hour drive.
it's only a 6-hour drive. You've done worse.
And there aren't airplanes there.
There is a regional airport. Thank you. Thank you. There is a regional airport. So I'm not flying, I'm driving, but I digress. Thank you so much for your time, Austin. It's been lovely. And if you enjoyed this call, please subscribe to our podcast. You can watch it, listen to it anywhere where podcasts are found. You can watch it on YouTube. And of course, if you want to learn more about everything we're doing at Queer and Successful, go to queerandsuccessful.com. We have weekly calls and all these fun things with amazing people like Austin. Thank you again, everyone. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and an amazing rest of your week. Bye.